The Brian Burns saga. Should we call it a saga? An epic? An Odyssey? An Iliad?
Hero's journey?
But see, we don't know if he's a hero yet. All right, the beauty of being able to name those like long epic books and writings is you already know how it ends when you name it. We don't know how this one's going to end. That's why I went with saga. The Brian Burns saga is far from over, and there's going to be ups and downs, like any good saga, like any good epic, right? It's not a direct line from A to B. There's obstacles in the way. Brian Burns tweeted out yesterday. No, actually, let me set the stage here before I get to the cryptic tweet. He's a free agent right now, or will be once free agency opens. He reportedly is asking for $30 million a year, which would be near the top, not at the top, but near the top of the edge rusher market. And the Panthers have been reticent to give him that much. He tried to get a big deal last offseason. They didn't get to the deal. He played out the year. Didn't play exceptionally well, but we'll get to that. Brian Burns tweeted, "Keep pounding, ... 2 heart emojis. Heart emojis were in Panthers colors.
Okay.
Now, on the surface level, right, if you're like, somebody that thinks Yellow Submarine is about yellow submarines, which maybe it is, but a lot of people look for imagery and symbolism. That just says he's a big fan of the Panthers, right? And keep pounding is something that they have adopted as a team mantra for a very long time. And that's him, maybe you might even say, pledging some kind of loyalty to the Panthers, the team that drafted him. Saying, I want to be here. Saying, we're making progress. Maybe even it's like the smoke coming out of the Vatican, a symbol that something is imminent, that a decision has been made. But you know what's hilarious about it? The very next thing he retweeted or reposted. Somebody else said it. He reposted it. Don't believe everything you hear, brother. That's all I can say in respect to business. Listen, Brian Burns does not want to get franchise tagged. Of that, I am sure. He does not want to be franchise tagged, and that has to be part of his goal right now, is to do everything he can to be on a long-term deal the next time he plays football. And because of that, guess who he's going to need a little bit of help from? The Carolina Panthers. He can't do it himself, right? Because if they don't reach a deal on a long-term deal that he gets to stay and be on the long-term deal and he gets to grow old with the Panthers, they have to orchestrate the trade because they're not going to let him walk for free. They're going to franchise tag him and send him somewhere else where then maybe he can agree on a deal there. But either way, he needs the Panthers to make a decision that gives him what he wants. He can't do it himself. The only thing he'd be able to do for himself is play out the season and then be a truly unrestricted free agent, not after this year, but the next year. Right? He could play out the franchise tag, and then he could play out another franchise tag, of which I'm sure many of you know what that's called. That's called the Kirk Cousins. He could go full Kirk Cousins. That's the only way he controls his situation. But do you know what the wrench in that system is? Didn't produce great this year.
No.
Which, for right now, guess what that is? It's a blip, right? It's a yeah, but. It's a we have all of these reasons and excuses. It's a yeah, he didn't produce, but the Panthers were so bad, the opposing team was never in a pass situation, so he never got to pin his ears back and really get after him. Yeah, he didn't produce, but he didn't have an edge rusher on the other side that was attracting any attention, so he was the focal point of every offensive game plan. Yeah, he didn't produce, but he wasn't always 100%, and he played through some injuries. That's what it is right now. If he plays next year on a tag and again doesn't produce at an elite level, it becomes the truth. Right? Once can be a fluke. Twice, harder to explain away. And then guess what happens? That $30 million demand becomes like, you know what? I will take that 27 you were offering or whatever the Panthers are actually offering. And they go, ooh, right? You start hitting them with cliches. Yesterday's price is not today's price. That offer Well, that was in a completely different world than than the world we're living in right now. And the tweets and everything are all gamesmanship. If you listen to the show, you know that I get annoyed when we have to break down all the social media because, right, Justin Fields doesn't follow the Bears anymore.
How dare.
Whoa, but he does follow Bijan Robinson. He's definitely going to Atlanta. That's not what I'm here for. I don't like that part of the job, but you'd be burying your head in the sand like an ostrich if you didn't recognize that in 2024, social media is intentional, right? Because, I mean, starting in probably high school now, players, especially the players that were big-time recruits like Brian Burns, are having it just said and repeated and repeated and repeated, right? Hey, be careful with social media, right? Social media is important. It's good to have a brand, but hey, what you say, people are going to hear, which is said like a warning, but guess what else it's doing? It's emphasizing how valuable of a tool it can be, right? If you say something stupid, everybody's going to pick it up. Then, okay, everybody is reading this. So when I say keep pounding with 2 heart emojis, he's not thinking like, oh, I just tweeted that and no one's gonna listen, right? He's not thinking when he hits send, he's not thinking, oh, my buddies will see this and that's all. That's not the case in the least. I was listening to a podcast with I'll just say a famous actor, okay? Famous actor. Many of you would recognize a few of the things he's in. And he was telling the story of how he went on a date in L.A. when he thought he was like a D-list actor. And he said when the picture showed up in like every single tabloid, he was like, oh, first of all, very annoying, not happy, really threw my personal life into a tailspin there for a little bit, but did teach a lesson that like, all right, I can't just go out in L.A. with somebody without expecting everybody to figure it out. And like Brian Burns doesn't have to learn that lesson. He's been told over and over and over again, if you tweet something, everybody's going to see it. If you retweet something, everybody's going to see it. So him saying keep pounding was intentional. The thing that I take away from it is he wants to have a good relationship with the Panthers. Not necessarily he 100% wants to re-sign with the Panthers. Not necessarily they're making good progress on a deal. Not necessarily any of that. But you want to have a good professional relationship with the team, even if what you're doing is asking them to trade you. You want to walk in there and go, hey, listen, I love it here. I want what's best for here. I think what's best for both of us is for us to part ways.
What's best for here is not me here.
Yeah, what's best, you could get my agent, go let him seek trades for me. Like it's that kind of stuff, right? Brian Burns does not want to be franchise tagged. He does not want to play next year on any kind of one-year agreement. Can't. Be a huge risk. So what is this little love fest with the Panthers on Twitter? We're cool, right? We want to help each other, right? I love you guys. You love me. How about Detroit? How about Houston? How about Baltimore? How about any of these other places that we can maybe help each other? And then, I'll still say keep pounding. I still love you. Still where I started. Still where you drafted me.
And I think it's also on his side of things is that if things don't work out, it's like, well, hey, look, I was trying to do the right thing.
You have to.
So it's the perception of things too.
Any leak, any information, any of that, consider the source and consider what they have to gain. Sports is a business. NFL is a business. Mm-hmm. And it's always a business. Even in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, it's a business. So it darn sure is less than a month before free agency opens up. It darn sure is. For somebody like Brian Burns, who's been asking for money for some time now and hasn't gotten it.
No. And the players are the ones that have the most risk. Like you said, like if he just plays on a 1-year franchise tag and if he has something that's tragic with injury-wise, like his earning potential is just gone.
If he played great this year and they still couldn't reach a long-term deal, I think he would be okay playing on a 1-year franchise tag because Then if he has his down year, he has all the excuses that he had this year. Oh, it's only down because the supporting cast. It's only down because of a nagging injury. It's only down because the coaching staff. It's only down because the offense wasn't good enough. You have all of that. But once you go 2 years, the GMs are going to go, no, it can't all be context. We gave you 2 shots at it. So the fact that he didn't have a great year this year, I think puts an urgency from his camp to get that guaranteed money now before it runs out. It'll be interesting to watch.